Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Hairi bin Zaini. Today I will present about my research project, which is my title is the influence of leadership skill toward UiTM SEREMBAN 3 student. Okay, now is for the background of the study. The concept of leadership developed with a study of individual heroes such as Caesar, Napoleon, Nelson, Mao Zedong, and others who led in their own right. Despite a 6.3% increase in employment over the last 6 years, women remain underrepresented in management roles. In Poland, women make up 48% of the workforce, but only 10% work in the management, and only 4% sit on the board of directors of the country's 500 largest enterprises. Next is the statement of the problem. Leadership cannot be only learned through formal method, but can be exemplified by existing leader and learned through co-curricular activities. A high level of risk-taking is essential in top management. Male applicants are preferred in filling top position since it is widely considered that women are more risk-averse than men. Women, as a result, receive less assistance than men. Next is the research objective. For the first research objective is to identify the most effective leadership skill among UiTM SEREMBAN 3 students. And for the second objective is to compare the different leadership skill between gender among UiTM SEREMBAN 3 students. Next is the literature review. A leader, according to Merriam-Webster, is one who leads. A position in the front is how the principle of leadership is defined. The definition of the term leader and leadership are not exactly helpful. Next is the conceptual framework. For my IV is UiTM student, and for my DV is leadership skill. And for the leadership skill, there is 5 domains, which is working with group, understanding self, communication, making a decision, and leadership. Next is the research design. This research use quantitative design, descriptive design, and independent t-test. Next is the sampling. For the target population is UiTM SEREMBAN 3 student. The inclusion of the population is registered student at UiTM SEREMBAN 3, and the exclusion is student that do not register to UiTM SEREMBAN 3. Next is the number of sample. The population of UiTM SEREMBAN 3 student is 5,651 students. The sample size for this research is 434 respondents. For the sampling technique of this research is probability and the simple random sampling. Next is the instrumentation. In this instrumentation, we have 2 sections, which is section A and section B. For the section A is for the demographic. In this demographic section, it have 5 items, and for the section B is for the leadership skill inventory, and the number of items is 21 items. Under this leadership skill inventory, it has 5 domains, which is working with group with 5 items, understanding self with 5 items, and the communication is 4 items, making decision is 3 items, and for the leadership is 4 items. Next is Cronbach Alpha. The Cronbach Alpha for the leadership skill inventory is 0.875. The validity of this Cronbach Alpha is valid because it more than 0.05. Next is the data collection procedure. First, we have to obtain permission from the UiTM transformation unit to obtain the necessary data. Second, pilot study to see if the question is valid using Chromebook Alpha. And for the third is obtain permission from the supervisor. Fourth is distribute the questionnaire to all respondents. And five, collect all the questionnaire after they have finished answering. Next is the data analysis. For the first research objective is to identify the most effective leadership skill among UiTM Seremban 3 student. The data analysis is descriptive analysis. Second is to compare the different leadership skill between gender among UiTM Seremban 3 student. The data analysis for this research objective is the independent t-test. Next is the finding result. For the finding of research objective 1, which is to identify the most effective leadership skill among UiTM Seremban 3 student, based on the table 4.3.6 that has been given, the table shows the overall result for leadership skill. For the final result, the highest of leadership skill was working with group with the mean of 4.22. The second highest was the understanding self. The third was making decision. The fourth is for communication, and the lowest is for leadership with mean 3.83. With this result, I can conclude that the working with groups is the most effective leadership skill among UiTM Seremban student. Next is the finding for research objective 2, which is to compare the different leadership skill between gender among UiTM Seremban 3 student. A t-test for independence mean was used to test the hypothesis 1 mean score of all 5 leadership skill inventory measurement skill were compared for gender among UiTM Seremban 3 student. For the final result, it showed that the difference between gender were not statistically significant for the leadership skill inventory measurement skill of working with group, understanding self, communicating, making decision, and leadership. Next is the discussion. For the discussion, research objective 1, to identify the most effective leadership skill among UiTM Seremban 3 student. The result for the research objective 1 is working with group was the most effective leadership skill. According to the previous journal, leaders must not only improve their leadership skill, but also urge their organization people to be inventive and cooperative. Teamwork and communication are the best and most effective ways to generate fresh idea and get the best result for the company. Next is the discussion for the research objective 2, which is to compare the different leadership skill between gender among UiTM Seremban 3 student. The final result showed that there is no significant difference of leadership skill between gender among UiTM Seremban 3 student. This is because the p-value was more than 0.05, which is the p-value for this research is 0.17. While explanations such as the discrimination have been put forward, self-election, that is differences in leadership ambition, are likely a major factor behind these gender gaps. Indeed, there is evidence that show women are less likely than men to seek to be elected to political leadership position, and that female students are less likely to run for student government in college. It shows that the leadership skill and gender among UiTM students show no difference. It means the leadership skill between male and female student is mostly the same and is on the same level. Thank you. That's all from me.